everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If there's one thing that you need to know about me, it's the fact that I loathe it when women get away with things that men don't normally get away with, or when women are let off lightly and men are considerably punished for something. Cue the female pedophile trope. If there is one area that very clearly demonstrates what a difference the gender of someone makes, it is the pedophile teacher. And I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like cases of female pedophiles are actually on the rise. And I say I don't know if it's me because it could just be me, because I'm just so hyper aware and hyper vigilant of these cases, because they just make my blood boil. And then when someone reports on the news, specifically a YouTube video, for example, you read the comment section and it is just, I don't have words. Well, actually, that's a lie. I do have words. It's full of scumbags. Unfortunately, usually men. They just go on and on and on and on and on, talking about how lucky that kid is and how they wish they could be in his shoes and how they wish that their teachers looked as hot as that teacher looks in her mugshot, because usually that's the photo that's used in these news segments. I feel like men are really not helping the cause when it comes to making sure that women are held accountable as much as they are, because with that attitude, it's no wonder women are let off lightly, right? And then you have a male teacher who sexually abuses a female student, and he is the devil incarnate. And that really exemplifies our view as a society of female predators. We are just not taking them seriously enough. I'm not saying that we're taking the men too seriously. No. The level that we are reacting towards men is the appropriate level that we should be reacting at. We need to really dial it up when it comes to women, if we're going to have any hope of seeing these crimes go down, of seeing these teachers getting stopped in their tracks, being deterred. So that's society's view. But what about the justice system's view of female pedophiles? Are their views still mired in sexism like the rest of society? Or have they evolved past that and have finally come to recognize that women can be just as dangerous as men? According to one of the more recent cases that I came across, the answer seems to be no, not really. I mean, maybe a little bit, maybe we're slowly progressing towards a better view of these things, but it's really just not happening right now. Now, this case involves a she's 52 this year, but a then 51-year-old Dana Chittister, an ex-science teacher from Illinois. A federal judge agreed Friday to release on house arrest a former suburban teacher charged earlier this week with sexually abusing a 14-year-old boy for months. U.S. Magistrate Judge Sidney Shenker? I don't know how to pronounce that, ordered Dana Chittister, 51, held on electronic monitoring at her stepfather's north suburban home and forbade her from contact with the alleged victim or anyone under 18 other than her own child. Prosecutors had sought to hold her without bond, arguing she posed both a danger to the community and a risk to flee given the sexual abuse of a minor charge that carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years in prison if convicted. The judge called the allegations very sad and very troubling, but cited her lack of criminal record and the willingness of her family members to act as a custodian to help ensure she follows the bond restrictions. The nature and circumstances of the offense are serious, the judge said. Nobody can say otherwise. Chittister's attorney presented an evaluation performed by a licensed psychologist, finding her actions were motivated by a lack of intimacy in her own marriage rather than to fulfill a sexual desire. The judge also set an unsecured bond at $250,000 and required that her husband or stepfather co-sign it, meaning they'd be at risk of losing that much money if she violated terms of the house arrest. Chittister was arrested by FBI agents Wednesday on a charge alleging she had sex with the boy at her home, her car, and in suburban hotels between September and December 2018. According to the 13-page criminal complaint, authorities in Will County were alerted in December that a Reed Custer student had been exchanging texts with Chittister about her sexual relationship with the victim. After identifying the alleged victim, Will County investigators searched his cell phone and found nude photos of Chittister, as well as more than 9,000 text messages between the two beginning last September, according according to the complaint. In a videotaped interview on January 2nd, the alleged victim told investigators he had engaged in sex with Chittister 15 to 20 times and that both had exchanged sexually explicit photos of themselves, the complaint alleged. So, many of you may be asking right now, clearly this is being taken seriously. The FBI have involved themselves and she's technically under house arrest. But see, there lies the problem. The judge's words in the article, when he said she has no prior criminal history and her family are cooperating. See, as a lawyer, I can tell you that a male teacher would not be given the same leniency, even if he had a clean criminal record. Teachers, whether male or female, usually do tend to have a clean criminal record because it is that type of job where you really need to pass in that area if you have any hopes of working with children. So I would say maybe 9 times out of 10, if not higher than that, teachers have a clean criminal record. So that shouldn't mean anything when it comes to prosecuting pedophiles who are teachers. Secondly, what really aggravates me about female predators is when everyone around them tries to paint them out to be the vulnerable, fragile victim. Oh, woe is her. She didn't mean to do this. She wouldn't have done this, but for insert lame excuse here. And in this case, the lame excuse is, oh, she suffered from a lack of intimacy in her marriage, which apparently justifies sexually abusing a child. Suddenly it makes sense, right? All these teachers that we have been wrongly accusing of sexual abuse and statutory rape and sexual assault, they were only trying to fill a hole in their lives. Pun very much intended. Based on the evidence available to the FBI, in my legal opinion, they have a very strong case and a very strong justification to keep Dana behind bars until either she pleads guilty or they go to trial. I actually tried to find cases where male teachers or male pedophiles were allowed to post bail or are confined in their own homes under house arrest, and I couldn't find a single case. Granted, I did a basic internet search. I didn't actually go searching through actual cases on court websites. What really disappoints me with this judge is, from a lawyer's standpoint, it's a balancing act, right? I mean, the symbol for justice is a scale. In my humble opinion, I'm no judge, and he's probably old enough to be my father, if not even older. If I were to balance the evidence that the FBI have, over 9,000 texts, nude photographs of her in the victim's phone, if I were to balance that against the fact that she has no prior criminal record, to me, that's just, it doesn't justify allowing her to post bail and basically transferring the burden and responsibility of keeping her confined to her family rather than just keeping her in jail where she belongs. The only mitigating factor this woman has is the fact that she has no prior history. I didn't read anything about her coming clean, which she didn't. She was caught. And I don't know what she's pleading, guilty, not guilty, but she has no mitigating factors. She's relatively old, 51, 52. She doesn't have the excuse of a more youthful teacher. Not that a teacher in her 20s has an excuse. A 52-year-old has literally no excuse. You are wise enough and old enough and mature enough, and you've lived enough of life to know that what you're doing is absolutely unacceptable. So in my opinion, the gravity of her offenses greatly outweigh the mitigating factors that the judge found, which I don't even consider to be mitigating factors. And purely based on that finding, she should not have been allowed to post bail, and she should not be under house arrest in the comfort of her own home with her family. She should be in jail, alone or with other inmates, because she needs to know her place. And I understand that we operate with a system of innocent until proven guilty. But if we're going to use that excuse for her or that reasoning for her, then everyone should be allowed to post bail. Everyone should be under house arrest in the comfort of their own home. Why do we have jail? Why do we have holding cells if everyone's innocent until presumed guilty? These women need to be made an example of, because these incidents, I'm honestly noticing a troubling, unsettling trend where women are abusing children in a school setting, and it needs to be stopped. So yeah, this is just another case where I think a woman was treated more leniently than a man would have been treated in the same situation. She's only been charged at this point. She hasn't been through trial, she hasn't been convicted, she hasn't been sentenced, so there's still a lot more to learn about this case. I will be keeping an eye out for any updates, and I will be posting them here on my channel. It will be interesting to see how far this leniency will extend. Will it extend to the trial and her sentence? Only time will tell. If history is an indicator of anything, then she will likely not get the maximum sentence, but I hope I'm wrong. If she is guilty, I really hope her sentence is proportionate to the crime that she committed. I personally know a woman who is the same age as myself, who is studying to become a high school teacher, and she is a sexual predator. She's been involved with the police, the courts, all that, and it scares me to know that there are women out there studying to become teachers right now who have a propensity to sexually assault others. All right, that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe to watch more. I post 3 times a week. Yes, 3 times. I'm brand new at this and I've been doing really well with keeping the schedule. So if you enjoyed the content and if you like being informed about these things, then do hit that subscribe button and like the video while you're at it. It really helps me out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in a future video. Bye.